What's up guys, Trail here, better known as Budget Bill, and this is your second stimulus check and stimulus package update for September the 21st. The second stimulus check is still in the works. I know a lot of people have been discouraged because of all the foolish games in Washington, but I believe a new stimulus relief bill will get signed very soon. Last week, the Problem Solvers Caucus introduced a $1.5 trillion relief bill that was bipartisan. It was called the March to Common Ground Act. This bill covered items wanted by the Republicans as well as the Democrats. Most Americans thought this relief bill was refreshing, as well as President Trump. President Trump has already urged his fellow Republicans to get checks sent out to Americans. Trump later tweeted, "Go for the much higher numbers, Republicans. It all comes back to the USA, one way or another." Trump thinks he can convince Republicans on a larger stimulus number. He said, "I can convince them. It wasn't their fault that this virus came from China and affected the USA. Unfortunately, most Republicans are not going to agree with a larger number. But I want to see people get money. I want to put the money in the Americans' hands." Now, even though President Trump is putting more pressure on the Republicans, they are not ready to budge just yet. The Republicans are still weighing their options and staying with the current price tag of $500 billion and nothing over $1 trillion. So, if the stimulus price tag of $1.5 trillion does pass in the Senate, it will be from mostly Democrats and a handful of Republicans. Ohio Senators Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman agree another relief bill needs to be passed and signed into law very soon. Portman emphasized, "We have to act now." He thinks there is an opportunity to get something done this week. Then Sherrod Brown says he is hopeful the push from the president will encourage Mitch McConnell to actually listen this time. But he doesn't think Mitch McConnell and most of his Republican colleagues are getting out and talking much with Americans. He said that they are not seeing the pain people are feeling right now. Otherwise, we would have already had a bill passed and the $600 per week unemployment extension would have been passed as well. Senator Rob Portman agrees a bipartisan bill needs to be passed as soon as possible, with more funding for small businesses, unemployment assistance, schools, and the healthcare industry. But he thinks the $600 a month in unemployment insurance should be cut down to $300. And the reason he thinks that is because 80% of Americans would make more on unemployment than they would at their normal job. And then on Thursday, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows rips a new one into Congress. He told reporters that members of Congress are leaving Washington, D.C. while pretending they are working hard on the next stimulus relief deal. Mark actually encouraged the media to take their cameras to Ronald Reagan Washington Airport on Thursday so they could capture Congress leaving Washington to go home. He stated that members of Congress are headed home to pretend like they are working hard, when in fact the stimulus checks are not going out to the American people and unemployment benefits will start to cease very soon. Now tell me this, do you think lawmakers are actually trying their best to work in the next stimulus relief bill or just pretending to care about the American people? I would actually vote for the latter, but let me know your thoughts. Now in other news, Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer introduced a bill that would cancel $50,000 in student debt. They are calling for the next president to forgive $50,000 in student debt next year in 2021. The beauty about this proposal is that it does not need votes from the House or the Senate. President Trump could easily sign this piece of legislation through an executive order. President candidate Joe Biden could also carry out this executive order if he wins the election in November. So that right there is definitely some great news for all of the American people that are struggling right now to pay their bills as well as their student loan debt. Well, that's all I have for you today. Now, if you could do me a huge favor, if you found value in this video, be sure to give it a like because it definitely takes a lot of time to research this information and create these videos. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's totally free and I would appreciate it. Other than that, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.